Very good afternoon to one and all present here. So we are going to the session 3, and the session 3 will be handled by none other than that Dr. Pradeep Mohan TG, who is currently working as associate professor in Muthoot Institute of Technology, Kerala. So he's going to talk about IoT based supply chain management. So without much delay, let me invite Mr. Vinod sir to introduce the speaker.
Hello, good afternoon, one and all. Let me introduce our resource person, Dr. Pradeep Mohan, PG, Associate Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Muthoot Institute of Technology and Science. His BTech degree from RIT Kottayam, 1997, and so MCA from Sai Axiom Infowars, New Delhi, in 2007. MTech degree from MA College of Engineering, Koramangala, in 2009, and PhD from NIT Calicut in 2018. Then its area of interest are evolutionary algorithm, non-conventional optimization, operational research, combinatorial optimization, supply chain management, and simulation. He has 8 years of industrial experience and 14 years of teaching experience, and he works as the professional roles such as research guide under APA Abdul Kalam Technological University, and also IQAC coordinator in Institute of Technology and Science of Now. And also he has 8 invited lectures based on the non-conventional optimization and supply chain management, and also because 18 number of journal publications and 12 numbers of conference. Okay, thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, presentation, I cannot get present.
Arun sir, can you stop sharing?
This already stopped.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, is it visible right
Yes.
now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, myself, Pradeep Mohan TG, and talking about the IoT-enabled supply chain. Actually, in IoT-enabled supply chain, we have 2 different parts. One is IoT and the other part is supply chain. So, in this presentation, what I want to share is a small introduction to this IoT as well as supply chain management, and then what is the IoT-enabled supply chain, or the IoT in supply chain, whatever it is. Then the conclusion, that is the only thing that I want to share in this one. So, coming to what to give us an introduction in this case. Actually, nowadays in this in today's society, actually the internet is often considered as a given due to its ubiquitous presence, and it has an accelerating influence on the ways in which we actually live, and obviously work and communicate with one another. So that is an integral part of our life in today's world, that is internet. So it has actually what internet does is it fundamentally connects the computers. It connects between all these computers. That is what actually internet does. So then these computers actually they starts or continues to evolve in parallel with the build out of the internet. That is, whenever internet is coming out or evolving, obviously the computers also goes on evolving. From the days of those computers, that is which occupied almost one entire room. Nowadays we carry a more powerful thing, a more powerful a computer in our pockets as the mobile phone. So that is the involvement of the evolving of computers as well as internet. So the computers can be any PC, laptop, tablet, smartphones, and any device which can be connected to the internet as well as which can be used as an electronic device to do calculations or do computational works can be considered as a computer. So there are different form factors in terms of this PC, laptops, etc. And different computing architectures are also there, like this Windows platform is there, then Intel platform is there, the what is it? The other all those different types of architectures as well as operating systems and all those different devices that is available. The internet actually it is revolves around this connecting all these devices together, whether it is a Mac or even it is a Windows or a Linux-based computer or Android device, whatever is internet doing is it is actually connects all these devices by sending, receiving, processing, and in most of the cases they store information also in the cloud. It stores the information also. Then until the very recently, the internet has been very composed of entirely of computers and connected to one another over the network. So that was the only thing. That is, the internet was only based on the computers only. But nowadays, that particular concept has changed. The mini computers or the mobile devices that came into action, and even the wearable devices came into action, like our smart watches, etc. came in, and the smart TVs came. So those cannot be considered as computers, but still they can connect to the computer internet. So, but nowadays the cases changes, and nowadays there are very small devices that can even connect to the internet. That is the Internet of Things. So it is not entirely not a new concept. That is, IoT is not an entirely new concept. It was originated in 2000, somewhere in 2000, in MIT's Auto ID lab. So there are different variations of definitions for IoTs, but the simplest way to say it is to think of IoT is to consider it as a networked connection of physical objects. That is, any physical object, whether it is your computer or whether it is your laptop, or it can be your door, or it can be your what do you say, watch, or it can be your shoe, or it can be your fridge that is sitting inside your kitchen. Everything, any physical device can be connected to the internet. That is the importance of this IoT. So now this with this invention of this IoT, or with this evolving sorry. So with this evolving of this IoT, this internet connections now extend to physical objects. Earlier it was only the computers that can be connected to the internet, but now it has been extended to the physical objects, which are not actually computers. Our fan, our lights, or our heater inside your home. It is not computer, but still it can be connected to the internet using this IoT or IoT concept. So the IoT actually serves a multiplicity of other purposes also, and how this IoT, the convention of the concept of IoT can be used in supply chain management. And that is the talk of this particular session. And now let's see what is about the supply chain management. So before going to supply chain management, what are the three different key aspects of supply chain management? Let's do a small activity in terms of a slide. In the brochure, in the template that was presented before starting of this particular session, there was a infographic was there, in which there was a central core in which three circles were there, and actually these three circles actually represents the three key aspects of supply chain management. And which are these three? Actually, I have given us options. The options are 4 options are there, out of which you have to select 3. And in order to go to this particular activity, what you have to do is you have to select your browser, any browser is okay, any browser is okay, and type slido.com on top of it. On top of it means in the address bar. Then you will get a window in which you have to enter the code. The code can be entered as W187. The code is shown here. So that code can be W187. And then you have to answer. Let's see how many of you get it correct or how it goes. It's just an activity. I will give you just 2 minutes. Or otherwise, there is another way to join this one. You can scan this. What is a QR code given in the screen using your QR scanner, and it will show a link to this particular question. So just 2 minutes, and I hope 2 minutes is more than enough, just 1 minute or so that everybody of you tries it and sees how you know. It is not actually an evaluation question. It is just for the sake of giving a question or just an activity.
Main thing is, I think, logistics.
Yes, sir. Actually, it has 3 different parts. That's the condition. In your brochure itself, you have represented it knowingly or unknowingly. In that infographics in the center core, there were 3 circles were there, and actually these 3 circles represents the 3 key aspects of the supply chain management. Okay, the poll is active, and now I'm moving on to the next slide. Okay, none of the participants has answered or went to the slide. Okay, whatever it is, the answer is actually the purchasing, that is sourcing, scheduling, as well as manufacturing. All these things constitutes, sorry, not manufacturing, the delivery, the logistics. That is sourcing, scheduling, as well as delivery. All these are the 3 key aspects. Manufacturing is actually a part of this scheduling part or planning. So in supply chain management, actually everything is involved, from the raw material collection from the first supplier, that is the raw material supplier, to the end customer, the down the line customer. Everything is involved in the supply chain management. Okay, now the supply chain management, coming to the supply chain management again, that it is the managing the flow of goods and services. That we are actually managing the flow of all those goods and services, as well as the information, the cash flow, everything is involved in supply chain management. And it includes the movement and as well as the storage of the raw materials, the materials that is required for producing all those objects. It can be the services also. Then the inventory, the semi-finished goods inventory or the completed finished goods inventory, all those inventory, the raw materials inventory, whatever it is, all those inventory is again managed in supply chain management. And obviously the finished goods. Once the goods are finished, you have to keep it in a specific region so that it has to be delivered to the customer. So that sort of movement as well as storage. The finished goods are moved from the first it is moved from the factory or the machine shop, then or the assembly shop to the storage area. From there, from the storage area, sometimes it has to be moved on to the display area, and from the display area, once the customer chooses it, it has to move to the customer's location. So that the supply chain management includes up to this customer, the bottom line customer. Then the supply chain management is actually, the supply chain is mainly managed, or the supply chain management involves 5 different actions. The first is the designing the supply chain management or the supply chain. How the supply chain is to be designed, that is one important aspect, because one of our concept is see the case of the Flipkart or the Amazon. They doesn't own any company, or but they delivers a lot of products. They only own a supply chain. They actually doesn't own this any physical entity of the supply chain also. They own just a, they have a just a system in which they have actually designed a system by which all these elements which is required for the supply chain to work properly. So in that particular supply chain, the end product is only delivered to the customer. So, but still, you see how it you can track their the way the route through which that particular item that you have ordered is transferred from the retailer or the seller to the customer. So in all these parts, in all these way, all these route, the Amazon or the Flipkart, they manages it, how they tracks it. So that is the designing, they designed it. Then the planning of the supply chain, how this particular item can be manufactured, that is a planning, or how much quantity it is required, what will be the requirement of, or what will be the number of items that is required for the next month. That is the planning, that sort of planning. Or then the supply chain actually the planning of the supply chain, it involves the demand forecasting, material collection, then manufacturing, then storage, then delivering it. So all this planning has to be done. Without a proper planning, it will go haywire. So then the execution, the plan is to be executed in a proper way. So that everything goes in hand. And then monitoring the every activity. So that is what the they let the customer know what is happening at the other end. So that sort of thing is happening. That is the monitoring. Then you control everything, control everything in such a way that everything works fine, everything works like in a coordinated way. So that is the control. Now, the supply chain management, it serves the purpose of creating the net value. When an item is created, or when a customer pays for a particular item, he doesn't search or pays for only that the material cost of that item, or only for the production of that item, but he gives some value depending on the supply chain also. Like if you look into different online stores, some of them sells the items at a very low cost. How it is possible? It is because of the supply chain. They doesn't involve any middlemen who carries, or who to whom we have to pay some sort of commission. So that is done away with. So that way they can, it is easy for them to sell those items at a lower cost. What they does is they sell a lot of items. The quantity of items is high. The quantity that they sell is the number they sell is large. So they will get a net share of that. Their net profit will be larger. But from piece to piece profit, if we look, it will be less. So in that case, the end customer actually benefits from this sort of selling. So it actually creates a net value for the entire supply chain. Then it actually creates or build a competitive infrastructure leveraging. It leverages the infrastructure, that is, there is a worldwide logistics. Earlier, when I was a very young, or some 10 or 25 years behind the line, if I have to send something to somebody in outside India, it took almost 1 month for the thing to reach there. But nowadays, with all those courier service like DHL or Blue Dart, etc., it is very easy to send, or within 1 week, or even some 2 days or 3 days. If I pay more, it will reach the next day. So that sort of that actually leverages the worldwide logistics that is available for the companies. Then the demand as well as the supply is synchronized by the supply chain management. Sometimes what happens is the demand is very less, but the supply is very large. And sometimes the reverse also happens. The demand is very large, but the supply is very less. So that sort of things can be done away with if you use the supply chain management. So that is then again the measuring of the performance is done globally. Earlier, when we used to buy some items from our nearest grocery shop, he may say that the item is not right now here. You have to wait for the next 1 week. The next week on Friday it will come. The supplier comes on Friday, so you can get it on Friday. The next Friday we goes and then again he says, "Oh, sorry, they didn't turn up today. So that item is right now not here. You have to wait for next week." So that sort of things is now not there. Now, if it is not available in that particular showroom or in that particular shop, what we does is we either go to the next shop or the next town, or even we search in the internet whether it is available on internet, so that I'll get it before the next Friday or at the earliest period. So the performance is nowadays computed or calculated based on a global performance, not a local one. In older days, when these things used to happen, that is, we have to wait for long. We have no other choice. We have to take his words as what you say, as for counted, because even he says that I won't sell those things. We have no other option. So that sort of things is right now not there because of the global competition. So the supply chain management, in supply chain management, all those performances is actually measured in a global way. So now let's look into a video based, which is created by one of Birmingham University. Actually, it is a video which they created for their own career opportunities in supply chain management. But obviously, it is very good video in terms of giving an understanding of the supply chain management.
Have you ever wondered where your
I
clothes are
hope the
made,
audio is clear.
where your Levi's zipper came from, or where your iOS device was put together? They likely came from far away. This is all due to efficient supply chains. First off, let's take an American Eagle shirt you might have gotten from your local mall. Where do you think it came from? China? It was actually likely made here in this factory in Vietnam, shipped through Singapore in a big container, and then trucked to your local mall. Next, have you ever wondered why all of your zippers say YKK on them? That's because it was likely manufactured by Yoshida Kyoto Kabushiki, headquartered in Japan. But your zipper was likely manufactured in this factory in the state of Georgia, USA, where their largest manufacturer is located. Are you still looking at your zipper? Lastly, your latest iOS device might have been assembled with a mystery factory of one of Apple's suppliers, located here just outside of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
So, what is supply chain? Supply chain is the process of getting a product from point A to point B. With how advanced technology has become, there are more ways than ever to transport your product. Our goal as supply chain managers is to get your product into your hands. Now, you might say, how do we do that? Well, it's easy. First, we negotiate with suppliers to purchase these raw materials. Second, we ship those materials as efficiently as possible through trucks, ships, and trains. And finally, we do everything we can to make sure your product gets to the store on time so you, as a consumer, can enjoy your product. Why is this so important to you? Well, without it, you wouldn't enjoy that car that you're able to drive, or even that phone that you enjoy using. Think about it. Everything you own is because of a company's supply chain. And without these supply chains, we would have nothing. So, how does supply chain compare to other areas of business? Accounting Well, it's the language of business with their income statements and balance sheets. Marketing, on the other hand, is the promotion of business, making sure our customers are aware of our product with customer surveys, sales, and things like advertising. So, where does that leave supply chain? In supply chain management, we are the business. We source your product, we make your product, and we deliver your product so you, as a consumer, can enjoy your product.
So what careers are available in supply chain management? First, there are people who make deals and negotiate with suppliers.
So the rest of the video is about their career opportunities, so we are not focusing on them. So next is the importance of the supply chain management. Actually, it gives you the customer service satisfaction. The customer satisfaction is there. The supply chain management, if you have a fully developed or a better supply chain and you manage your supply chain better, then in that case, the customer satisfaction is better. So one of these cases, I can explain one of the cases that I have, experienced. If you go to the Amazon, if you order something in your Amazon, in 90% of the times, just within 1 or 2 hours after the after you register your demand or you place your order, if it is not in the midnight or something like that, within 1 or 2 hours, within the time of placement of the order, the item gets shipped, or at least it gets packed. But in most of the cases, in some others, what happens is it may take up to 1 or 2 weeks to get it packed or get it shipped. So that sort of and even in most of the times in some of this online showrooms, the item reaches you within time, not just within time, maybe 1 or 2 days earlier than the expected date of arrival. That sort of things also happens. So that gives you a better impression about that particular supply chain, about that particular seller, etc., etc. So then a better customer experience is there. Rather than a customer service, it gives you a better customer experience. For a better customer experience, the supply chain management is important. And the reduction of the operating costs. How this operating cost can be reduced? By reducing the inventory that is being stored in your storage. You doesn't need too much storage space to store all those inventory or to store all those finished products. So that is given away. So like because of that one, there's some reduction in cost is there. And the other one is you don't have to display much of it, the items, even it is available or if it is visible to the customer, you don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning it, etc., etc. So that the operating cost can be reduced. Then the production cost is reduced. How this we can decrease the production cost? The wastage is decreased in if you have a very well developed supply chain management. In a very well developed supply chain management, you as a producer might be knowing what will be the demand or approximate demand, what will be the approximate demand. Without any specific data, you cannot say that this is the demand and I am producing this much in expectation of selling all those things. So out of which some of them will get damaged, and after that some of the items will not be sold. So in that case, the production cost can be reduced by getting a proper feedback of the customers about the items or the demand of that particular item. So thus we can reduce the production cost. Then if the production cost as well as the operating cost are decreased, proper supply chain management reduces the total supply chain cost also, because everything from production to or from the raw material purchasing or the getting the raw materials from the first line supplier to the end line customer or the bottom line customer, the total supply chain cost, the inventory cost can be reduced, or the transportation cost can be reduced, because in some cases some of the your factories will be nearer to that particular customer. So in that case, you can transport that particular item from that particular factory itself. But in most of the cases, if your supply chain management is not that good, and the supplier places an order which is away from his own location, then in that case, you may have to supply, or you may have to transport that particular item from the position where he has placed the order. So that sort of things, that sort of cost can be reduced in the case if you have a good supply chain management system available. Then obviously, if the costs are reduced to the financial position, also reduced. Then improves the handling of goods. We doesn't need to store it too many time, or we doesn't have to store it for a longer time. So, and it can be handled very well. The packing is very good, and the transportation is good if you transport it at the right time and at the right place to the right person. So then obviously it improves the process integration, from the process of forecasting the demand to the supply of raw materials, the production, then the storage, then the delivery. If it will be integrating all those processes involved in all these 5 aspects of the supply chain management. So another video which shows again the future of supply chain. What will be the future of supply chain? It is created by KPMG.
Supply chain is drastically changing. With the increase in technology, the access to data, and making that available across your end-to-end network, what it might look like in 5 years' time is very different from today.
Products, workforce, industrial assets will be connected. Collaborative robots will support the operator to work in a better and a safer way.
It's going to be enabled through technology, through ecosystems, through people and capabilities that only we can dream of at the moment.
The changes that we are seeing in the market are quite dramatic. And if organizations aren't looking for where disruption has come, they're going to be disrupted themselves.
I think historically, supply chain was relegated to being a back office support function. I think as we move forward, it's not just about having a great product or service, it's about delivering a great customer experience. Customers want choice, they want personalization, they want what they want, where they want it, when they want it, and all those have implications on the supply chain.
One of the key barriers to modernizing the supply chain is just understanding the digital technology landscape out there, whether that be blockchain or robotics or AI. But one of the biggest challenges our clients face is sorting through that noise.
Not asking which technology will be implemented, but which set of skills and competencies the supply chain will need to allow this vision of the future.
There's a huge amount of upskilling, knowledge transfer, different skills that are going to be required for supply chain professionals over the next 5 to 10 years.
An organization with a successful supply chain is well connected to its customers and using internal and external information to flow that through end to end. So it can be very proactive in the way that it manages that to meet those customers.
The future supply chain will not be able to deliver all the competency capability itself. It will need to tap into an ecosystem of cloud providers, different technologies, understand where it can leverage those skills, where it can supplement what their core capabilities are.
They're able to operate with all of their partners as one virtual organization with shared information, shared process, shared decision support. Those are the companies that are going to win.
So the next is the weak links that is in the supply chain. these are the weak links that you have to address, or that we have to, or the company has to address. One is the adaptability. That is the sudden changes in demand. Sometimes the sudden changes in demand happens, and what happens is whatever we have prepared to deliver to them, that may not be sold. So in that case, how this can be taken care of, and in some cases the reverse also happens, that demand suddenly increases and we are not able to supply so much items, or the required number of items to the customer. So that is the problem with adaptability. So you have to be, the supply chain is to be adaptable in such a way that it has to adapt to the changes in demand. Then the visibility. So the visibility is how the market thinks about a particular product, or how the market demand varies. That sort of visibility is required. The visibility is desired not to reduce the bullwhip effect. You might have heard about the bullwhip effect in supply chain management. When a customer orders one, at the end the producer gets an order of 100, that is, or some in terms of tens. So that sort of a change in demand or increasing demand over the different layers of the supply chain, that is the bullwhip effect. So if the supply chain offers sufficient visibility so that the bullwhip effect can be done away with, so it can be improve the what you say, the weakness. Sorry, it can, the strength of it can improve the strength of this supply chain. Then agility is also required. That is the responsiveness to customer requirements. So a customer requires something, and you gives it to the customer. So that sort of thing. Once I heard that once the Ford, when Ford was the only company that was manufacturing automobiles in Europe, once he said, you can have any color of the car as long as it is black. So that sort of things won't work right now. So if a customer wants a blue colored car, you should be able to give it to him. Or if he requires that what you say, a bright or a fluorescent red car, you have to give it. That is the responsiveness. That is the agility of the supply chain management. But it is very difficult. It's difficult to customize all those things for a specific customer. So then the analytics. The analytics is about the data. That is the what is it? The analysis of all those data and the results, that is, or the information that is compiled from all those data. But in most of the cases, there won't be not sufficient data won't be there, and hence the sufficient analytics cannot be done. So that is the difficulty in another difficulty in the supply chain. Then the different challenges that comes in the supply chain management is, one is the globalization challenge. That is, we have suppliers around the different global geographic locations, and it complicates the supply chain. One is that is the globalization challenge. Then the second one is the fast changing markets. So the market is continuously changing. The constant innovations that is happening, it changes the new innovations every time. So it changes the markets, and the enterprises has to constantly anticipate the demand for new products every time. So in one of the books, Alvin Toffler has written that the change is actually multiplying. The changes that were happening over 100 years in the last few years, last decade or last century, was the same change is happening now in 10 years or in 1 year. So that sort of changes is fast changes is being happening. So then the quality and compliance. The quality is the what is it, the usability of that particular product. So high quality products is required, and every company is pressurized to create high quality products. Then they have to comply or need to abide by some rules which is put forward by the government or the regulatory standards regarding the manufacturing, packaging, handling, shipping, etc., etc. Then you have to manage the inventory. The inventory managing is you have to keep enough inventory on hand so that all the customer demand or the client expectations are met, and you should not keep more inventory so that those will get outdated. So that sort of things happens. Then you have to manage the suppliers. You have to find the suppliers who are consistent as well as reliable, who at a price that doesn't hurt your own bottom line. So that sort of customers, suppliers you have to find out. Then managing the safety as well as the quality. The safety, the globalization of supply chain brings concerns about the quality of producers that are made for different countries, made in different countries and different for are made for different countries. So the quality of a product that is available in India may not be the same as the quality of a product that is available in America. So that sort of changes is required, or the quality standards as well as the safety standards is required. Then there is a risk mitigation. That is, the companies have to rely on one or less number of suppliers which are vulnerable if the supplier doesn't meet demands. So sometimes there is a risk involved in selecting the supplier also. If a supplier is or a company is revolving around a single supplier, so that sort of things is very difficult. So a smart supply chain management or a smart supply chain is a supply chain which is instrumental. That is, everything is instrumental. That is, there is a specific system involved in that particular supply chain. Even if something breaks out, there is obviously a replacement for that one. So that is an instrumented supply chain, and it is interconnected as well as intelligent. The supply chain is interconnected. That is, every part is connected to every other part. Even if some breakage happens, it doesn't affect the entire supply chain. So that is interconnected. And again, it is smart if it provides the product tracking. As I said, in the case of Amazon as well as Flipkart and some other good online selling platforms, they gives you the product tracking ability and a better transactional efficiency. The transactions that is happening, it may be the item that is required or the product, the cash or the information, that transactions that is efficiently being done. And again, the most important thing is end-to-end visibility of the entire supply chain. That is, even the end customer might know where my product is and what is the demand of that particular product. So that is the end-to-end visibility of the entire supply chain. Now let's do another slide. The same code is there, and you can go to the slide as well as test the thing. A small activity. So just a very small or a very basic question: what is the main difference between supply chain management and logistics? Okay, I hope those who are trying to do it might have completed it, and actually none of no answers till now. Okay, leave it. So the answer is that is logistics focus on two main constituents: transportation and delivery. So that is the only difference. But the supply chain management focus on the entire activity within from the product to the end customer. So now we move on to the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is actually, it is a network of varied physical devices. As I said earlier, the physical devices are connected to the internet. That is the Internet of Things, and it connects all those electronic devices, which facilitates the exchange of data. So the exchange of data is done, and only those electronic system as required in Internet of Things which can facilitate the exchange of data. Even without any storage of data, it can be done. But in many cases, the storage of data, some sort of storage of data is there. So each physical device will be having a built-in electronics and software connect through the whole IoT of actuators, sensors, etc. So each device will be having some actuators as well as some sensors, and all those electronics that is required to connect and the software, electronics as well as software, the hardware as well as the software part, which is required to connect these actuators and the sensors in between themselves and to connect to the internet or to other devices. So each device can be identified by its embedded computing system. So each device can be identified by basically knowing what is the computing system embedded into that particular architecture. So that is that can be done. Then the devices can interoperate within the established infrastructure. Within that given infrastructure, the devices can interoperate. That is, it can operate collaboratively. So that can be done. That is Internet of Things. Then another definition for Internet of Things, one of the most commonly accepted definition, the things that are embedded with the sensors connected to the internet and communicating with each other and us. So the things can be anything, any physical entity that can be connected to the internet. As per the Cisco's study, the number of items, the number of objects that can be connected to the internet is increasing or doubling in a period of only 4 years. So now it is around 50 billion different items, that is in 2020. Around 50 billion items can be connected to the internet. But in 4 years or before 4 years, in somewhere in 2016, that is 4 years back, it was around 25 billion. So that sort of things, that is doubling in almost 4 years. So then the next is the things that are connected are embedded with the sensors. The sensors can be any type of sensors. It can be the acceleration sensor, the electric or magnetic sensors, whether it can the sensors to check for leakages or the levels, or it can be what you say, the speed, the weight, etc., etc. So any sensor and it can be connected to it has sufficient electrons to connect to the internet also. And the next is it has to by connecting to the internet, nowadays very small chips are available which can be pasted on your hand, and you can connect to your location will be available in the internet, or your blood pressure, your temperature, etc., can be monitored using that particular device. So that sort of devices are available nowadays. So then it communicates with each other and as well as and us. Suppose we have a weighing machine in which is connected to the fridge, and if my weight is very much larger or a high weightage, it can communicate to the fridge that is saying that okay, he is having a high weight. So that's actually a joke. It may not happen, but the devices communicates with each other. And when I am switching on my electric iron, or if I am switching on my mobile phone, all the lights should be switched on. So that sort of things can happen. If I am switching on my mobile phone in a room which is full of darkness, or which is dark, and I haven't switched on the light, so obviously the Internet of Things know that without light, using mobile phone is dangerous to your eyes. So it has to switch on the lights. So that sort of things happens. And an introduction to the Internet of Things as a video, it is again an introduction to what is the Internet of Things.
The Internet of Things, or IoT, is influencing our lifestyle from the way we react to the way we behave. From air conditioners that you can control with your smartphone, to smart cars providing the shortest route, or your smartwatch which is tracking your daily activities. IoT is a giant network of connected devices. These devices gather and share data about how they're used and the environment in which they are operating. It's all done using sensors. Sensors are embedded in every physical device. It can be your mobile phone, electrical appliances, vehicles, barcode sensors, traffic lights, and almost everything that you come across in day-to-day life. These sensors continuously emit data about the working state of the devices. But the important question is, how do they share this huge amount of data, and how do we put this data to our benefit? IoT provides a common platform for all these devices to dump their data and a common language for all the devices to communicate with each other. Data is emitted from various sensors and sent to IoT platforms securely. IoT platform integrates the collected data from various sources. Further analysis is performed on the data and valuable information is extracted as per requirement. Finally, the result is shared with other devices for better user experience, automation, and improving efficiency. Let us look at a scenario where IoT both the manufacturing machine and the belt have sensors attached. They continuously send data regarding the machine health and the production specifics to the manufacturer to identify issues beforehand. A barcode is attached to each product before leaving the belt. It contains the product code, manufacturer details, special instructions, etc. The manufacturer uses this data to identify where the product is distributed and track the retailer's inventory. Hence, the manufacturer can make the product running out of stock available. Next, these products are packed and parceled to different retailers. Each retailer has a barcode reader to track the products coming from different manufacturers, manage inventory, check special instructions, and many more. The compressor of air conditioner has an embedded sensor that emits data regarding its health and temperature. This data is analyzed continuously, allowing the customer care to contact you for the repair work in time. This is just one of the million scenarios. We have smart appliances, smart cars, smart homes, smart cities, where IoT is redefining our lifestyle and transforming the way we interact with technology. The future of IoT industry is huge. Business Insider Intelligence estimates that 24 billion IoT devices will be installed by 2020, and IDC predicts that IoT revenue will reach around 357 billion in 2019, resulting in a lot of job opportunities in the IT industry. Want to become a part of the IoT revolution? Come and master IoT with EduRacer. The Internet of Things.
So now the Internet of there are different IoT types. The cousins are actually these are the cousins of the IoT. That is even the artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, cloud computing, predictive analysis, analytics, then mobile, driverless vehicle, telematics. Everything is a part of IoT, or it is some way related to IoT. Everything in these things, they communicate with the internet or communicate or share data, they store data, and they work based on the internet or based on the data that is collected by them, and they also have sensors attached to everything. All these physical entities have sensors attached to them. So that way, these are all cousins of IoTs. Now, in Internet of Things, actually, we have the things that is the physical devices. Then the physical devices collects all those data that is required for the things, and then they process the data, and then the persons which leaves or connects to the internet using this specific devices or physical devices. Then they process the data, and this cycle goes on. And now the advantages of the Internet of Things, that is, it provides you better communication, and it gives you, the IoT provides actually a transparent system with better ways of communication. Thus, it increases the quality of the services. Then it is gives you an automation and control. That is, fastly as well as the timely output is possible by automation as well as controlling all those things. Then monitoring. The monitoring is the supplies helps. Actually, it helps us to keep track of the availability in warehouses as well as their locations in the transport or warehouse. That is, the tracking of the items is possible by monitoring all these things. In order to monitor these things, the IoT helps. Then the time. It helps reducing the time by accelerating the supply chain process. Because we doesn't need much of a searching process involved in here, involved if the Internet of Things is there. the data is stored in your internet and or in your computer itself. So it is easy to find out a specific item that is required by you. So then it helps in reducing the time. Then the money, the alerts can be provided in case of breakdowns as well as damages to the system. So the condition monitoring is done. So if something happens or something is going to break down, it gives you prior information itself, and when the item is to be replaced or when the the maintenance is to be done, that sort of things is can be done. So the money is saved. And it is efficient and saves time also. Time we have already done, and since it is efficient, the machine to machine as well, or the M2M, that is the machine to machine interaction provides better efficiency, and even a system which works on its own can within the system, it saves the time as well as it is more efficient than a human being who computationally, even the human being is better than a system, but in a repeated works, a system or a machine is better. So a machine can be, or a machine which is connected to the IoT or an IoT interface to the system, it saves time also. So then the architecture of IoT, actually we cannot actually predict for an or give a specific architecture to an IoT, because it is actually an umbrella which involves a different variety of categories of items, and in each of the items it has a different architecture. So it can be either a wireless sensor or actuator networks, or it can be internet connected wearable devices, or it can be low powered embedded systems, maybe RFID tracking devices, or it may be use of the mobile phones to interact with the real world, or it can be devices that connect with the Bluetooth, enabled mobile phones to the internet, or it can be connected cars, etc., etc. There are many more IoT architectures are available, and normally there are four stages are mainly set in the IoT devices. One is the sensors, and then the internet, and then the storage of data, and then the analysis of that particular data, or the implementation of that particular information from that particular data. So these are the four different stages that is used in IoT implementation. So now the weakest link in IoT is the infrastructure. The infrastructure in our cities, in our homes, in our in our buildings, etc., etc. So let's see what should be a smart city.
The world is changing fast. Cities are growing and urban population is rising. The need for transport of people and goods are increasing, but so is congestion, air pollution, road accidents, and climate change. We need more mobility, but we have to do it in a smarter way. This is our scenario for the future. Outside the city, vehicles and autonomous trailers are operating within safe and confined areas. Electric vehicles are charged while goods are loaded. A driver enters to lead the connected convoy onto the public roads, where dedicated bus lanes should be used if possible. Autonomous connected trailers create safe, modular, and flexible vehicle convoys, adapting to transportation needs. Adjusting to schedule updates, the flexible convoy switching goods along the way, a mobile consolidation center. The transport system is enabled through an integrated cloud platform, connecting vehicles, people, infrastructure, and logistic partners. In the city, the sensors of the autonomous refuse truck detect all movements in the vicinity of the environment and reacts automatically to any potential incidents, making sure citizens are safe and preventing accidents before they happen. Bus platooning will improve efficiency and capacity in city public transportation. With silent emission-free buses, we can bring public transport closer to people and even drive inside of buildings. This opens up completely new opportunities for city planning. Fast and efficient way of charging from the electric grid at the end terminal in just a few minutes. How do we build the cities and the infrastructure of tomorrow in a more sustainable way? The future is electric. Zero emission and low noise gives the electric compact excavator access to environmental zones in the city. Imagine a silent and emission-free city. Imagine a cleaner, safer, and more resource-efficient world without compromising our everyday life and health. The future is now, and we are ready.
So that's a presentation from Volvo, and another from the Siemens about the smart buildings.
The challenge. Building owners are facing increased for building space. Buildings need to be comfortable, safe, efficient, productive, energy efficient, and secure while maintaining business resilience. And they need to meet higher occupant expectations. This is driven by technology and the Internet of Things. To attract and retain employees and occupants and maintain a competitive advantage, building owners are going beyond the traditional focus on operational efficiency to create people-centric environments that enhance occupant experience. To be truly smart, a building must deliver world-class operations and occupant engagement, transforming the building into an extension of the people who work and visit there. Your building becomes an active contributor to the success of your occupants and your business. The question is, how? The solution. The answer is by partnering with Siemens on your next construction or renovation project. Siemens' people, processes, and technology are transforming buildings into adaptive, people-centered spaces in ways that were never possible before. The foundation of Siemens' smart building solution is an intelligent infrastructure with IoT devices that capture data and is a powerful integration platform that connects all your building systems such as automation, lighting, security, and fire, as well as business systems such as asset management. The next layer is a data analytics platform that allows continuous monitoring and analysis of your operations to improve performance. And now, an IoT network of smart sensors provides additional data sets to gain insights related to the occupants in the building that you can use to increase occupant productivity and well-being. Furthermore, workplace mobile applications give occupants direct control over their environment, such as personalized temperature and lighting control. These capabilities provide a more comprehensive, user-centric approach, effectively connecting the people in the building with the building. With an intelligent infrastructure, digital applications and services can be implemented to address your specific challenges, from energy conservation and maintenance optimization to space utilization and emergency response. The benefits: buildings that are comfortable and safe, ensuring the well-being of people and protection of assets, optimizing room conditions, and maintaining a comfortable environment. Are energy and asset efficient, enhancing business continuity through operational efficiency and minimizing energy and maintenance expenses. Are space and user efficient.
So now we move on to the topic that is IoT enabled supply chain. So what we have seen what is supply chain and what is IoT and how we integrate IoT into supply chain. That is what the IoT based supply chain or IoT enabled supply chain. So IoT in supply chain, a presentation on based on the Internet of Things and as well as the supply chain.
Digital disruptions continue to grow at astonishing speed. Manufacturers and startups developing more connected, intelligent products and services. Bringing these products to the marketplace needs one thing in common: an efficient supply chain system. Supply chain influences companies' time to market. It also has a critical impact on asset velocity as it is linked to inventories. Hear what experts have to say on how digitized intelligence of things enabled supply chain can be used to boost efficiencies, save cost, and increase asset velocity through enhanced transparency, visibility, and insights.
You know, one of the things that supply chains have always focused on is the cost. Yeah. But with sensors and the ability to actually monitor this in a supply chain, now we can look at the balance sheet much more effectively. So the balance sheet is about assets and it's about liabilities. So if you can speed up the supply chain and flex, we say, you know, 1 day improvement in our supply chain velocity is $60 million worth of cash in our pocket.
Robert Burton of Leland Fund says that they source from 40,000 factories from across Asia, and that a digitized supply chain not only drives productivity and improvement, but also promotes transparency and traceability through smart sensors.
The Internet of Things, putting smart sensors in manufacturing across the shop floor, and enable you to measure activity in manufacturing. So once you measure it, then you can start drawing and then capturing data, take the data and give you the opportunity to really start drawing on the insights.
But it's not just about transparency or traceability, as Saj Kumar of SAP emphasizes.
We're looking at things like predictive maintenance for machines, for instance, with the data that's coming and then trying to look at when this machine fails over the next 1,000 cycles, 1,000 times. So we're getting into the area of using data science with the scientists and machine learning to come up with predictions on the life of machines.
That's not all. According to Daniel Kolakowicz of IBM Watson, IoT offers a cognitive system that learns from and infuses intelligence into the physical supply chain world to ensure product reliability and even save lives.
When you have a car accident, and if I can get that data and send it to the manufacturer in real time. Now, there's a lot of factors. It could be driver in the car, it could be weather patterns, it could be malfunctioning of a car, there's so many different things that happen in a car accident. But if I could feed some of that data, now you've heard all these car industry is doing recalls, events on emissions. But if I can collect that data now, get it real time, and stop what I'm doing at the plant level in the manufacturing moving forward. If I can make that correction now, people have to do a recall later with the cost benefit of that.
As an industry analyst, Bill Rojas of IDC sees that beyond enterprise usage, other industries such as energy will also need supply chain visibility in real time.
In some cases, like in mining and oil, gas, electricity, you have to be able to monitor, and a lot of this is now real time.
The future success of companies and industries are indeed heavily dependent on digitized, real-time supply chain, as aptly summarized by Tom Lipton and Robert Burton.
Building a digital supply chain is right on target with where we're heading as a company and with the industry. I think all supply chains need to lead, whether it's high tech or whether it's low tech, say in the garment industry. And the intelligent supply chain and the smarter world that's coming is going to create great needs and global productivity.
The age of intelligence has arrived, and surviving disruption will require creating it. In this case, establishing a digitized, connected supply chain system.
So now, what the IoT can done in supply chain? That's the first thing. So then we can monitor the status. The circle, there are actually 6 different areas where the IoT can be implemented in supply chain in order to increase the efficiency of the supply chain. So the first thing is we can monitor the status of the assets, the different parcels, the different products, that is the different people that is involved in this particular activities or activities in the supply chain. So that can be monitored as a real time, on a real time basis also. So that sort of things increases the value in the value chain. Actually, the supply chain can be termed as value chain because it increases the values, the value of the item. So in the value chain, what is the status of the items or the products that is within the supply chain and the people that is involved in the supply chain, that can be monitored easily. Then we can measure as well as measure the assets that are performing as well as the assets that are non-performing, and the effect, and based on that one we can control it also. So that is We can control what is it currently doing, each asset is currently doing. That sort of things can be done using the IoT. By incorporating IoT into that particular system, we can measure what is being done and what is not being done and what can be done. And we may make it that particular thing do a specific task by monitoring. By monitoring, you can measure the items, and by measuring, then you can control it. Then we can automate the different business processes. That is, so that it may eliminate the manual interventions. By eliminating the manual interventions, in most of the time the quality is increased as well as the predictability is increased, and thus the costs are lowered. So the automation process can be done by controlling automatically, and by getting the data on a real-time basis, we may automate the things in a better way. And then we can optimize how the people, the systems, the assets, everything else that is involved within the supply chain to work together, and by coordinating, we can coordinate the activities, and thus every system or everything involved in that particular system can, or in that particular supply chain, can work together in order to optimize the end results. So we can optimize the things, and ultimately we can learn that the analytics, the data collected. In the previous case, in the normal supply chain, we said one of the weakest link is the analytics. But in this case, when IoT is incorporated into the supply chain, obviously the data, every data can be collected. Every data, an RFID tag attached to a particular product can give its locations at each intervals. So that sort of data can be used to, or data can be used for the supply chain analytics, and based on that supply chain analytics, you can learn a lot of things which can be again used for monitoring these things. So it is a cyclic process, the monitoring, measuring, controlling, automating, then optimizing, then learning again comes back to the monitoring. So that is a cyclical process. And this is the case that is about fixing an RFID tag into a device. So the other IoT devices can also be fixed onto the items, the small chips that is attached to the tags of items in a shopping bazaar. So that is also an IoT device, because it connects, or it contacts, or it communicates with the sensor that is fixed at the entrance or at the exit. It says that the bill for this particular item is not paid, so it is being stolen, or it is being taken without paying the bills. So that sort of things is happening. That is again an IoT device that can be considered as an IoT device. So another video is also there, but because of the time limitation, I am just skipping it.
If your business, huh?
So then now the success factors that is involved in the IoT in logistics. Actually, logistics is only a part of the supply chain management. In manufacturing, IoT is there. IoT can be attached to all the machines. It is already there. The robotic arms, the automated machine shops, that is already there. That is the manufacturing is being done, or then the supplier selection. The suppliers are connected with all the demand is directly sent to the supplier, saying that this particular item is required, and based on the particular demand, the entire supply chain planning is also being done. And then the logistics, the success factors of this, the main part that is where the IoT can improve the supply chain is in logistics, because in logistics a lot of time is spent on tracking the items, finding out where it is being currently located, and then transporting it not in an efficient way. That is one item which can be straightly moved from one location to other. It is being circulated, or it has been rerouted through other ways. So that sort of things can be avoided if it is possible, if we can implement the IoTs. So to successfully implement this IoT in logistics, it will require a large or a strong collaboration along with the high levels of participation between different players and competitors within the supply chain. And a common willingness to invest is also required. Then the shared end goal will be to create a thriving IoT ecosystem. That is the common goal. That is required for the success of the IoT in logistics. So the clear and standardized approach is nothing but the different tags or different identifiers, that is unique identifiers for various types of assets from different industries on a global scale is to be used. There is a standardized approach for the tags or the identifiers that is used in each of the products or each of the items is required. So then there should be a seamless interoperability. That is, there should not be any any gap in the operation between from one point to the other one. So that is, if an item is tracked or has to be transported from one end of the India to the other end, in that case, it may not be traveling through only in a single mode of transport. It may be going through different modes of transport. So there should be a seamless interoperability and a seamless transaction should be possible. Then the establishment of trust as well as the ownership, that is the trust between the different players that is within this particular supply chain or within this particular logistics is required. That is the establishment of trust as well as the ownership of different data and overcoming the privacy issues is required in the IoT operated in IoT powered supply chain. Then the clear focus on reference architecture for the IoT. There should be a reference architecture by which every player which are involved in the logistics or in the supply chain can get an idea about what is happening or what are the different items or different architectures that is being used within this particular IoT system. So then there should be a change in the mindset to embrace the full potential of the Internet of Things. That is another thing. That is the business mindset. That is spending more and getting more back. That sort of mindset is required for the success of IoT. Because a large investment is required for IoT in logistics. So now, what should be a smart warehouse in supply chain management? Warehousing is an important factor. And what is a smart warehouse? How IoT can improve the working of a warehouse? Let's see how it can be improved. This is from the DHL.
At DHL, we have a very methodical approach towards innovation. We have very strict phase gates and only scale globally if we are confident that it will bring outcome for us or our customers. We take innovation very serious. We always have in our mind how we can better serve our customers, how we can have better quality, how we can have better safety, and how we can operate everything that we do in a better way. We publish a trend radar. We look at social, at business, or at technology trends in a very frequent manner. So we try things out in a local environment and prove it there. And then we move to the next phase, where we scale this up to proof of concepts in a regional environment. And once we have proven that part, we will scale globally. We move things. So things have always been important for us. The Internet of Things is not a new term for us. It's been something we have been connecting devices to our networks for a long, long time.
The data we are actually looking at is something that the IT systems had in there for many months or even years. I think that the IoT platform, what it brings is give us access to the data in a very fast manner, real time.
We have a unique position. We have a great breadth of operations across the globe. We are the biggest player on the market. And we have had really good success in driving those innovations across the globe.
Thanks to our executive relationship with Cisco, they basically brought a product that today can definitely cover that indoor position with the infrastructure we already have set up. What is important also is that you have a visualization tool that helps you understand was brought into the mix. So the three parties, Cisco, DHL, and Compute, actually put the system together. Basically, we are using 4 sources of information. The first one is around indoor positioning. We are able to capture the Wi-Fi location of our scanners. We are also capturing the utilization of our material handling equipment. We also are capturing data around the warehouse management systems. What are the tasks that are actually directed to our users? All those sources together basically bring us to utilization in the warehouse. As we started the project, we actually looked mainly at 2 aspects of that. One was around increasing efficiency in our warehouses. We want to see if we can actually run them better. And the second one was around safety. As we basically move forward, we want this actual tool to give us some insight in terms of making decisions. Aggregating the positioning of individuals, we can actually get very interesting insights, such as, for example, heat maps. The heat maps will, of course, give us where are the highest concentrations of individuals and also with performance. And as a result of that, we could also bring some proactive safety measures. For us, what is important is to ensure whether the new technology actually is going to bring a benefit or not. We do have a series of lighthouses, one of them being Beringen.
The lighthouse facility is a selected site where we show our best practices in operations and use it also for pilots in new process setups. The Internet of Things gives us a better view into our warehouse. We can replay activities over a period of time and analyze what happened and try to find alternatives. For the size of this operation, 40,000 square meters, it's impossible for a supervisor or an operations manager to have a full overview. Our first use case was asset utilization, material handling equipment, where we can analyze usage over a day, a week, or a month time. The inventory optimization identifies opportunity to put the right parts at the right spot of the warehouse to minimize travel distances. For safety, there are 2 ways to use the tool. We use it to review the traffic plan, so you can see the heat maps and determine if the flows are okay. And we use it to review incidents, so impacts or collisions, because the tool will really show you what happened. With the tool, you can very quickly visualize where opportunities are and adjust your warehouse setup. This way of looking at things is really brand new. Normally, an engineer would look at flat lists to really turn data into information, but now he has one screen with a clear visualization of what happened in the warehouse, and that really adds value.
The IoT journey is something that we're going to be walking. And the ones who will basically not walk the path of digitalization will be basically left outside. No longer we can actually wait for months to get a report or weeks. We need to take decisions now about things that are happening now. That for us has been the energy that was fueling the project for the last months. Understanding that, yes, we are somehow changing the way we're actually running logistics.
We think that digitalization will have a huge impact to our industry. The whole supply chain will be fully digitalized, and we will see the advent of new services, new solutions that we can implement for our customers. And that has a profound impact on the whole industry.
And this is a screenshot of the DHL Smart Warehouse. Actually, DHL operates one of the best logistics services in the world. So most of their works are automated, not all, but most of their works are automated, and their works far better than all others. They are the leading company which operates in logistics field worldwide. And there are more videos, but anyway, I am just skipping all those things. There is some videos on the smart manufacturing, how manufacturing can be the use of IoT devices can be implemented or used in manufacturing. That is also the demand requirement, the availability of the material, everything is can be shared with the manufacturing or the producing machinery, the production machinery, so that it can take its own decisions based on how much it is to be produced and how much time it is required and what quality it should produce, what should be the surface roughness or the surface finish, etc., etc. So that sort of things can be done. Now the IoT and logistics will also include the smart homes, not just within this manufacturing or the warehousing or the transport, the logistics is required, but the homes should also be smart homes. The cities should be smart. The retail outlets should be smart. The healthcare systems, that should be smart, or that should also include the IoT devices. The agriculture, energy, etc. Everything should be smart. Then only the private public transportation, the general transportation, the connected homes, the connected consumers, etc. is required for an IoT device to be or the a supply chain to be fully connected to the internet or connected to enabled with IoT devices. So this is the logistics that is being done by IoT. Everything, almost everything is connected with IoT devices, whether it is an RFID tag, whether it can be a only a sensor, the temperature sensor, the moisture sensor, etc., etc. So it gives you the smart delivery also. The smart delivery is possible only when your home itself is smart. Smart consumers, the consumers, the home itself is connected to the internet. Your lighting is smart, your window control is smart, your thermostat is smart, then the home appliances is smart. Nowadays, smart air conditioners, smart fridges, smart TVs, etc. are coming up, or which can be controlled using your mobile phone itself. So the Wi-Fi enabled things, that those are smart. They are connected. They are IoT enabled devices or IoT connected devices. So then the other wearable devices like smart watches, etc. And finally, there is a small question to end the session. When do you think was the smartphone technology first introduced? We have been hearing it for a long time, or maybe for 1 or 2 years back, we were started hearing it. But when was this first smartphone technology was first introduced? So, okay, whatever be the question, the answer you can find it out, Google it out from the net. So now the logistics implementation challenges. The one is the cost of the tracking the solutions. The basic thing is about the tracking solution. That is the devices, the RFID tags or the tracking sensors, etc., etc., has to be placed on each of the products that is to be transported. So that is the basic one of the basic challenges that has to be addressed. If the cost comes down, the usage of IoT devices will be more. Then the device reverse logistics. These devices have no use with the customer. So it has to be either it has to be discarded by the end user or by the customer, or it has to be reverse logistic. It can be reverse transported. So that sort of thing is actually very difficult, or it involves a lot of cost involved. Then the integration of the system, the existing system is to be integrated with the new technologies that is to be implemented. Then the data security as well as IP. So it is said that the IoT devices, the most of it, or 90-95% of the IoT devices are not secure enough. The data inside that one is not secure. It can be tracked down, or it can be tracked down at any time. So that is a difficult thing. Then the management of all this data. So much data is being selected and stored. So the management of the data becomes difficult. Then, as I said earlier, the common standards for each of the players within the particular logistics or supply chain management system. So these are the different challenges that is faced by the IoT implementation teams. Okay, and that's all. And I am winding up. I hope I am within time. So, any questions? Okay, you can Thank you very much. Thank you, the organizers of this term. I thank the organizers of the uh, the STTP as well as the HOD of the department, Dr. Shanmugesh, who is my close friend, and I thank everyone who was present here, and thank God. I thank the God Almighty for giving me an opportunity to present this particular session here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. Any queries from the participants? Any queries? Okay, sir. Can you wind up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir. So let me invite Mr. Arun K for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Shall I stop sharing, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So I would like to thank Dr. Pradeep sir for the wonderful session, especially the topics like Smart SCM was very informative, and we was able to give a clear visualization with simple explanations and animations. And IoT's implementation supply chain was very wonderful, and the live polls made the session very interactive. So it's a very pleasure to thank you, sir, for the wonderful session you had. All participants have enjoyed this wonderful session, and all fruitful. The session was very fruitful. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, shall I push off?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Participants, kindly complete the feedback.